continue off my discussion here, though, I want to talk. This is what I think happened in the Michigan Senate race, though. Like I've said before, and I'm not saying that you have to automatically write these people off, write their political career off. It's not completely out of the question. They're not done politically. They just didn't meet the moment in the election environment they were in. Okay, and like I've said, because if both wings of the party already got their institutional support, okay, it's hard to find your footing in the door politically when you're running between two candidates, okay, who are different fractions of different camps in the party. And the reality is, Abdul Saeed operated the Bernie Sanders left, and Haley Stevens occupied the Clinton Biden wing of the left of the Democratic Party. That's just reality. Mallory McMoore was basically Elizabeth Warren, you know. So it was going to be an uphill climb considering how divided the wings of the parties are, you know. Now I think in past times she would have been the ideal candidate for the moment, but this is a different moment now. The moment's passed. But like I said, the political mistakes that she made was she went after the grassroots left, and she attacked people that were highly popular and visible. We saw that, and it backfired bigly. She went after people she didn't think she needed support from, and it foiled her campaign. That's why she ended up dropping out, you know. And again, I don't know about this woman's character. I'm not making judgments about her. I don't know enough about her. I mean, from what I've seen so far, she seemed like a pretty good candidate. She had a decent platform. She seems like a very decent person. I think it was political calculation, though. And maybe the people around her told her to make this political calculation, which was not a smart one. And she only elevated and made the progressive candidate more popular. Okay? Because the one thing I will tell you, this was a mistake. Very similar mistake also in the presidential campaign in 2008 with Hillary Clinton, when she went after Obama and used race. She did a very similar tactic, okay, and she basically tried to use terms like Obama ain't a real American like me. And people knew what that meant. He's not white. He don't appeal to rural America. Because back then, to be fair, rural America still was voting for Democrats back then. They were only voting for certain types of Democrats, though. So she used race and culture to resonate with many wings of the country. Because she thought, well, they're not going to vote for this black guy with a funny name. I'm the legitimate candidate. I'm the candidate that can win these voters over. And to be fair, it seemed like that was true. Because a lot of the candidates in the Midwest and the South, the Clintons were a household name. Hillary and Bill both. And to be fair, she was more popular back then. So people thought she could use the whole race card. You know. Then, of course, she pivoted to I'm a woman kind of argument. And that's kind of what Elizabeth Warren also did in her race for 2020. Kept fixating on being a woman, running as a woman, running as a woman. But it doesn't appeal to a lot of people. When you wrap yourself in gender and identity politics, it turns a lot of people off. Especially when people don't feel it's a substantive argument. If you don't do it correctly. Now, if you use your identity as a way to relating to people and understand their walk of life and understanding the fabric of working class people, it will resonate with people well. It's just how you do it. But Hillary Clinton did this tactic where she made people think she was more legitimate because she felt threatened by Obama when he ran, and she made comments that were very racially sensitive, and it made a lot of people mad. She had the birtherism. It foiled her campaign at the end. She almost won, but she ended up losing. And part of what backfired on that was she made very ugly attacks against Obama. And it angered a lot of people in the African American community. It angered me as a white voter because I literally felt like, because in 2008, I was going to support Hillary Clinton before I even paid attention to politics, you know. Then I discovered this guy, Barack Hussein Obama, and I was blown away by his speech, and I went, oh, this guy's really good. But the racial attacks angered me, and it made me want to go for Obama. I was so angered by her dirty politics. I said, no, this is not acceptable. So it motivated me to go caucus for Obama in 2008. And that's what I'm saying. There are politicians, and I'm not saying because they do this are bad people. It's just bad political calculation. So, especially when you're running in a Democratic primary, you have to be mindful of that because there's a lot of emotion involved. And there's a lot of the identity politics in a lot of ways can be effective in Democratic primaries. So you have to be very careful about how you attack other candidates. You can't just go after their race or their nationality and think that's going to help you. That's obviously going to foil your campaign. It's going to show up. But I've seen many politicians make this mistake. Not to say they can't come back and win. They can. Because Hillary Clinton did run again in 2016, winning the Democratic nomination. But then ultimately lost to Donald Trump in 2016. But she still did come back and win a primary. Even though Bernie Sanders ran a hell of a campaign against her. So, again, I say these people are not doomed. But you have to learn from these past mistakes that this kind of politics, especially in a Democratic primary, is only going to destroy their campaign. It's not going to help them politically. Because the people they're trying to appeal to are people that are not in the Democratic Party fold. That's why. You're appealing to people that are not voting for you. It doesn't work. But the people that are not voting for you are not going to vote for you anyway. They're going to vote for Republicans. They're not going to vote for a Democratic candidate. So if you're attacking left, you're effectively destroying the heart of your own support in the Democratic Party. And that's just fact. And anybody with a political psyche or mind of any common sense that looks at politics would know that that's a very dumb strategy. It's dumb. Because especially now, even more so today than, say, 2008 or 2020, it's a lot different now. It's even more intensified than it was 6 to 15 years ago. Let's just be honest, okay? The environment's changed significantly, especially with the leadership of Donald Trump in the White House. So it's even more so. And the rise of the internet, and the rise of the progressive left movement, and the rise of the far right movement, and the rise of the internet age, everything's changed. The culture of politics in this country has changed significantly in the last 18 years. Okay? So, the Democratic Party not only got to change in so many aspects and get with the times, but they got to change their political strategy and tactics. Okay? And they got to stop trying to appeal to voters that are never going to vote for them. I don't know when it's going to take for them to figure this out. But there's only so many of us voting in a Democratic primary, and we're not voting for this nonsense. We're just not. We're voting for people that we feel stand for our values. We're not voting for BS anymore. We're just not. And I, as a voter, am not interested in playing these games of culture and race wars. I'm not interested in it. I don't want any part of it. And I really don't got time for people to run their ugly smear campaign tactics because they're desperate to win over votes. Because if anything, that's going to turn voters like us off. And we're going to vote for the actual progressive candidate. We're going to say, no, you know what, turn the page, we're voting for the other person. And that's why I said the politics of this hate and division's got to stop, and misinformation. It's just fact. But that's all. I'm just here to share some common sense wisdom here about future campaigns. Because I don't think all the people that ran are bad people that didn't win. Okay? I just think it's terrible political calculation. That's all. It's not about attacking anyone's character. It's just, we got to change the way things are done in politics now. It's time to turn the page. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Have a great day. Have a great night. Goodbye.